There was a time where Benjamin Moore's Revere Pewter was the answer to everything. Whole home? Revere Pewter. Living room? Revere Pewter. Selling your house? You guessed it, definitely Revere Pewter. I don't recommend it anymore as a wall color. Not nearly as much as I used to. Not because it got worse magically or reformulated, but because the homes we're putting it in changed. And this is one of those colors where if you don't test it properly, it can easily go sideways in a way that's not obvious at first. Because Revere Pewter doesn't fail immediately. It kind of slowly reveals its problems. It may look fine in the morning, and then at night you're like, why does this feel slightly green? Or you move it next to your flooring and something just feels weird and off. And that's exactly why sampling matters so much with colors like this. A tiny paint chip does not show you how a color is actually going to behave in your space. I'm sorry. It doesn't show you how it reacts to your lighting, your floors, your cabinets, all those things that actually determine whether the color works. That's why I always recommend using sample eyes, because their peel and stick samples are large enough that you can actually move them around your space, use them and reuse them, compare them next to your materials, and see how the color shifts throughout the day. Especially with a color like Revere Pewter, where subtle undertones can show up when you least expect it. Being able to test it properly makes a massive, monumental difference. Because the goal isn't just to pick a color that looks good on a swatch. It's to pick one that actually holds up once it's on your walls. So thank you to Sample Eyes for sponsoring today's video. Now let's talk about why Revere Pewter worked so well. Revere Pewter became popular because it solved a very specific problem. It bridged the gap between beige and gray at a time where homes were transitioning out of those warmer palettes into cooler ones. It worked beautifully with those early gray finishes, cooler lighting, stainless steel appliances. It felt clean, modern, safe. It had a bit of body to it. It had some richness. And more importantly, it was kind of predictable. Back then, if you used Revere Pewter, you knew exactly what you were getting. But what changed? Well, homes. Homes did not stay the same. We collectively moved away from cool grays into warmer woods, layered textures, mixed metals, softer lighting. And suddenly, Revere Pewter didn't really sit the same way anymore. Revere Pewter tends to feel muddy in a lot of homes today, and it's not because it suddenly became a bad color. Like, that'd be crazy. It's because the environment around it changed. And when it first became popular, it worked really well with all these cooler finishes. You know, you have your gray woods and tiles. Everything was aligned. The color sat cleanly in that space. And now with homes leaning warmer, when you introduce Revere Pewter into that kind of environment, it doesn't feel clean anymore. It starts to feel a bit heavy, kind of muddy. Not dark, not bold, just slightly dull. And that's where people describe it as muddy. That's the word that keeps coming up now. It's not committing to being warm. It's not clean enough to feel crisp as a color. It sits in this weird middle zone that used to be really useful, but now feels kind of unresolved. And the tricky part is that nothing looks obviously wrong. That's the thing. It just looks a little off. And that little can grow into a lot over time. It's kind of like the room should look better than it does, but it doesn't. That's usually the sign that the color isn't aligned with the materials around it. A good neutral should support the space. It should feel like it belongs there. It's the glue that's keeping the whole thing together. When a color starts fighting the environment, even in a subtle way, that's when you get that muddy, slightly heavy feeling. And that's what's happening with Revere Pewter in a lot of modern homes. All right, let's talk about it. The green problem. This is the part that really throws people off. One of the biggest issues with Revere Pewter is that it can look slightly green. And the frustrating part is it doesn't always do it right away. In some spaces, it looks completely fine. Balanced, neutral, exactly what you expect. And then at certain times of the day or under a certain light, you start noticing something feels weird. And that's that green undertone coming through. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's over. The reason this happens is because Revere Pewter sits right in that tricky middle ground, not strongly warm, not clearly cool. So when lighting conditions change, especially under warmer artificial lighting, those subtle undertones can start to show up even more. It might look fine in daylight, but at night it shifts, it morphs. Or it looks okay on one wall, but a bit off next to the flooring or your cabinetry. That inconsistency is what makes it difficult to trust nowadays. A really strong neutral should feel a little more stable. It shouldn't feel like it's changing personality depending on where you stand or what time it is. With Revere Pewter, it's not always dramatic, but it's enough that people start questioning it. And that's usually when you hear things like, I don't hate it, but something feels weird. That's almost always an undertone issue. Now, this is important. I don't hate the color. I just don't tend to recommend it as a primary wall color anymore. It used to be one of my go-to colors, especially for secondary spaces, because in the right context, it actually still works really well. So here are a couple examples of where Revere Pewter actually still kind of works. Revere Pewter still works. It just works best when it's not doing all the heavy lifting. As a wall color, it has to carry the entire space. It has to interact with your lighting, your flooring, your cabinetry, everything. And that's exactly where it starts to struggle. But when you move it into a supporting role, it actually performs much better. For example, as a trim color, it can be really effective. It has enough depth to create contrast, but it's still soft enough that it doesn't feel harsh. It can frame a room really nicely without dominating it. We actually just did a video about contrasting trim colors, which you can check out after this one. It also works really well on exteriors. Outside, you don't have the same lighting conditions or material conflicts, so the color behaves more consistently. It reads as a nice balanced gray without as much of that muddy green shift. And that's the key difference here. When Revere Pewter is supporting the design instead of defining it, it feels much more stable. It's not responsible for setting the tone of the entire space, it's just adding to it. So the color itself isn't the problem. It's the role we're asking it to play. As a main wall color in modern interiors, it's doing too much. But as a secondary or supporting color, it still has a place in modern interior design. So I hear you guys, James, I'm looking for that same general feel, but I need more stability. What are some better color options that I would recommend today? Instead of Revere Pewter, you could look at Benjamin Moore Stone Hearth, which is warmer, more grounded, or you can look at Smokey Taupe, which is richer and slightly less unpredictable to me, or some Sherwin-Williams colors like Anew Gray, which feels a bit cleaner and more resolved, or even Mega Greige, more body, less floaty and unpredictable. These colors, to me, they feel a little more aligned with modern interiors. They don't fight materials the way Revere Pewter sometimes does. Revere Pewter didn't get worse. It just stopped solving the problem it was hired to solve. As a main wall color in 2026, I don't recommend it. As a supporting color on trim, exteriors, controlled use in general, it still has a place.